Hello, people. Good morning. I just added a button for everybody to go to the Gather Town, which is where you can socialize. And so, I guess for those of you who are currently tuned in, Gather Town is super cute. A few volunteers in the APAC hub actually set it up for us. So there's a welcome desk there where you'll be able to find some of the Open Science SIG volunteers. And yeah, I mean, go and socialize. Otherwise, ask us questions. We'll answer them as best as we can. And then in an hour, we will actually have the welcome ceremony where I will present a video for me and Remy, who's my Brainhack co-chair, and then Eduardo and I will go over a set of slides. I guess I could start streaming this as well, actually, I realized.
Sure.
I mean, it's like not particularly exciting, but oh, never mind. It's live and recording. How do I actually make it? I wonder if it's already streaming. I guess.
I think Annabelle made it automatic live streaming, so
thank
I
you,
think
Annabelle.
we'll have to work. Yes.
Perfect. Made our lives so much easier.
Do we have a Jitsi as well as yesterday? I think the APEC had a Jitsi aside from the Gather Town. Okay, something happened. Okay, people, well, you can go to the Gather Town, or you can just stay here to chat. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I just accidentally refreshed my window.
Okay,
so
no worries.
Sorry about that. Cool.
So people can stay here, have a chat, or just wait for everything to come back in 1 hour. I recommend Gather Town. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Should we pause this until then, or?
I'm not sure. I think I watched what Remy and Salim did this morning, and so it was actually Camille and Remy first, and it was literally just like it was being live streamed, and it was just the two of them sitting there.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just go into Gather Town.
Cool. I guess I will do the same thing then.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't crash. Morning, Arshita. Good. You? Sure.
Wait, Eduardo, question.
Yes.
Hey, Remy. If we're both in Gather Town, then we're both going to be heard speaking to different people. So we should probably figure out a system where either we mute ourselves here.
I think I'll mute myself here, and I guess we can both mute ourselves, and then
yeah.
And if people want to talk here, I mean, it's just so people know that we're here.
Okay, perfect.
Otherwise, it will be crazy. Hi. No, you can. You just go to the. I think I hear myself. So if you go to the settings, then you can change your name. No, you could just go to the left. You have settings, more settings, and then you can change the name.
Hello, Pradeep and Yarek.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me? Cool. Okay. Yeah. I guess I can't do both Gather Town and Crowdcast. For some reason, my computer got very annoyed with me, so I'll be here. If anybody wants to hang out with me or come on screen, we can have 2 more people on screen. Yes. Remy, would you like to join? Cool. Um, Hi, Remy.
Hello. How is everyone doing?
Wait, I can't hear anything right
Hi,
now.
Remy.
You cannot hear me?
I do.
Huh. Interesting.
My mic is on.
I can't hear Eduardo either, though.
Oh, okay. At least there's consistency. Um,
Hi, sorry. I'm in Gather Town as well, so this is very strange. Can you hear me? Okay, good.
try a refresh. Wait, who's hosting the call? Ah, no, she's hosting. Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
But
you're
I don't
good.
think Lisa can.
No, I think she's having problems after getting Gather Town on.
Don't go to Gathertown. That's what they say. Okay, that's a new one. That's interesting. We've had our own set of issues in the EMEA. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, maybe that will work. So people should go to Gather Town if you can. There's a button somewhere that Lisa just added. Also, how do I change my name? Username. Do you know this in Crowdcast, I guess?
Yes. You have to click on your name, I think. Yeah, click on your name. That will open your profile. And then you can just double click. No, you can edit it. So yeah, at the bottom of your screen, if you just click on your name, then it will open a separate tab, and then you should be good. And then you can add plenty of information, just like I did. And we highly recommend people do the same.
Okay, I'll try to do that now because I don't have that much. So people should be drinking coffee by now.
What was that?
People should be drinking coffee now. This is a coffee time hour, right?
Yeah, we had a very, very big debate
Right.
on our morning like coffee thing. Was
Bird.
the topic was tea or coffee?
I think it's on my side. Tea, coffee. Okay.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
was.
The bird is me.
Oh, the bird is coming. Yeah, that's like, yeah, you don't know where things are coming from anymore.
And a dog. Sorry. This is live, people. So I'll try to change my information here.
Apparently, Lisa is having troubles to connect. Okay, the thing I do not understand is like, wait, who's hosting the session though?
Her.
Like the host is gone and we're still here?
Pretty much. That's where I'm at.
This is very, very confusing.
I'm guessing it's just the, I mean, because it's crowdcast, they won't, just bail on us. We'll
yeah,
just stay
no, I
here.
hope so, but this is slightly unexpected.
I'm back.
Hey,
Can you hear us?
you.
Hello. Safari sucks. I don't know why I ever was using Safari, but thank you, Chrome. Okay.
Yeah, I think in Crowdcast in general, you just want to go for Chrome. Even some Firefox users have said they had issues.
Oh, good to know. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess
it's not consistent across. So it's just just try different things, and then when one works, just stop tweaking it.
Yeah. I guess Remy, question for you. Do you want to tell us how the EMEA hub went? Anything that we should keep in mind?
We have a lot of different platforms, and I think this is a bit confusing for people. So one suggestion something you can try is that when you're going through your slides and you explain what the different things are, maybe, especially for Mattermost, some people might just not completely aware of what it is, how it works.
Yeah.
So maybe just show what it is, what the different channels are, how you can look for new channels, specify that we have named our channels in a certain way, so you can just go like OHBM, hack, that will be a project, help desk will give you this. That might help people figuring things out a bit. You're going to be getting a lot of people going like, I didn't get the email. People who are Mattermost who's like, I didn't get the email. So it's like, yeah, the rule of thumb is check your spam, apparently.
Yep. Okay.
What else can I tell you? Yes, that we encountered some issues with the streaming of the videos.
Yeah, Celine mentioned.
For the train track. So we went for a backup, which was just using the stuff we had on YouTube prepared just in case. And the problem, though, is that it becomes really hard to have the Q&A after that.
Okay.
So because then you sort of send people away, and then you want them to come back for the Q&A, and it's not very organic, and you have people once again switching platform. But I think that Annabelle was looking into how to potentially help you with this.
Yep.
So yeah, if things just don't work, yeah, just remember there is a YouTube backup just in case.
True.
And we've not heard a lot from the projects because I think people were just doing their own thing. So I think that just went on pretty well. I mean, I was getting pinged and messages here and there. People going like, "Oh, how do I do this?" But it seems that the self-managed aspect of the hack track was going kind of fine, I think.
Awesome, which is what we anticipated, I guess, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But it is, yeah, we're using different platforms, and this is confusing. So
yeah,
people are gonna go, what is going on? So yeah. I suspect.
Oh my God, Remy, you need to take a nap or have another coffee.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly, right.
I made myself a big iced coffee. I'm very happy about this.
Nice. Good call. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
What I had for food today was actually just a coffee with a bit of milk because I've been so busy since. And it's
Remy!
4 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe I should go and get some food.
Maybe.
Remy,
yeah, exactly.
Can you feed yourself, please?
I'll try.
Please. I literally offered to send you food yesterday. Oh my God. Well, actually, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I guess I haven't had food yet either. I have this banana sitting next to me, and I'm like, I don't want to be awkward and eat on screen, so I'm just gonna sip on my iced coffee, and it'll be great, I guess. I was
You'll
gonna
be
say there's like
fine.
intermittent fasting, hackathon fasting. Is that a term that we can make up? Just kidding. Hi, Angela. Do you want to
Oh
join?
wow, this is pretty cool.
I'm gonna.
I think you'll want to have her on screen as well, so she
I
can tell you
do.
how
This
it
will be
went.
great. I
We
also
can
haven't seen
get
Angela in like 2 years, so
okay.
apparently Salim is up for hackathon fasting. Cool. Accepting and connecting.
Hello.
Hi,
morning.
Angela.
Hey, Angela.
How's it going?
How are you doing?
Not too bad. I'm moving back to Canada next week, so my apartment's like kind of crazy.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
That's fun. What time is it for you in Singapore? It's like 12 or 13 hours ahead.
We're 12 hours ahead of Montreal, so
Okay.
it's 10 p.m.
Okay, cool. All right, not too bad. I guess you've been up very early probably though, so.
Yeah, but I'm a late person too, so.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Cool. Do you have any feedback you want to give about the APAC Hub?
Well, the setup was completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, right. So we were in a Zoom room for the main thing, like, and all the train track things were through Zoom. And it actually went really well. Like, we were able to stream it, no problem, stream the video. So like one of the hosts would be playing the video on their computer and then like sharing screen and like the audio, and it was fine. And yeah, I think like it went really well. Like there's barely anything I can think of that went horribly. Like even Chowgan was streaming a video and his power cut out, but then Kelly was able to pick it up like exactly like where we left off. So within like 2 minutes, like we were like right back on track. So it was really good.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool because it totally didn't go that way for us in the EMEA hub. It was just a bit of like, oh, that doesn't work, so I guess we'll try something else.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but I saw your kickoff yesterday last night, and I was like, oh wow, you look like you're all ready. And I mean, last night that was morning for you, but yeah, Angela, it seems that you were doing really well. It looked like it went.
Yeah, it was really good. So I see Salim is asking for some help with settings. Were you using Zoom for the crowdcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, if you're using crowdcast, then I don't have any tips.
Yeah, it's going to be different.
What we were doing. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is honestly what's probably been causing me the most anxiety. I mean, we've gone, like, Annabelle has gone over some options with us. I mean, there's OBS, there's Loopback, I think. I literally know nothing when it comes to, like, audiovisual streaming stuff. Very technically inept in this domain. But apparently it's supposed to make the audio fine for the viewers. I don't know. Yes, Loopback. Thank you, Salim. Yeah, but I imagine it's probably the same thing that would help with Zoom as well. I don't know. I don't think that
I mean, so from what I can tell, I guess you guys have to depend on some third-party thing to do streaming on Crowdcast, because like with Zoom, it's just like built in. So maybe that's why it was just kind of seamless for us.
Yeah, I think it definitely using Zoom makes some things definitely easier for sure. Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily need the third party, because I mean, Annabelle showed us that we could just share our screen, and as long as we have like either Loopback or Voice Meter, I think.
Yeah, that's what I've seen that name being popped around in some of our tech channels.
Yeah. But yes, I see Katya saying that Annabelle was the Brainweb online crowdcast hero as well. Definitely thumbs upping that.
So yeah, I'm getting the feeling that it's gonna be fine because you're gonna have like just exactly the right answer at the right moment. I think we were just
100%.
in over our head on our side. Like I had no idea what was going on. Okay, fine. Let's just try backup lines. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So
and Angela, were people very confused by the different platforms? Because you have
I don't
GatherTown,
think
you have
so.
Mattermost.
No, I don't think so. No one really had any questions about like what was Mattermost or like what was GatherTown. It was really just like as long as we could direct them to the right HackMD document that like had all the links and everything, then those instructions were like clear enough and people really got the hang of it.
Okay.
Cool. And so I guess I asked Remy this question earlier this morning, but my morning. Were you, I guess like with Zoom it'd be different, Remy, in your case, were you just calling people on screen according to the order of the HackMD document for the project pitches?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Cool.
so what we did was that Shalem was host of the session, so he would just do the invites, but I had the document next to me saying, hey, this person is like I think we like keeping track of who had already pitched. I mean, it was not exactly the order of on the list, but more or less we sort of figured it out.
Yeah.
No, that part was not necessarily a problem. It flowed pretty well. What you can start doing though now is that, and that's what we did, because you can start inviting project leaders on stage now and have them test sharing the screen, because then it's a bit of a, then when they come in for the actual session, when the project pitches are actually happening, then they exactly know where to go, because a lot of us, like most of us by now, are familiar with Zoom, but not everyone is familiar with Crowdcast. So yeah, so I think I'm going to vacate the seat and actually let you start just inviting some of your project
I'm
leaders.
also sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm laughing at Eduardo and Salim's responses about this indeed being America the continent and the hub, yes. Because I think Katya said that she was trying to join the America project pitches, but they haven't started yet. Katya, if you're pitching a project, you're welcome to come on screen and test it out.
Yeah, she asked me for the password, but I think she was confused on that.
Cool.
Actually, we did use this time to test out if other people could share their screen with us.
Perfect.
So
I guess in that case, open call. Anybody who has pitched a project, would you like to test out coming on screen?
Let me see if I can find. I see that Sanu is here. She hasn't changed her name, but I recognize her picture, so she can come on stage and.
Pradeep is online, I see, and I know he pitched a project.
Is there. Who else? I'm trying to go through the names and see who I recognize.
Jacob. I will invite you. I guess Angela or Remy, one of you will have to.
I will
bounce.
go. I've been doing way. Oh, plus actually no, you need 2 spots because you need the slides as well. So I guess Angela and I actually have to go. So
okay, thank you for joining.
Thanks, Remy.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Sleep.
Cool. I'm inviting Jacob. Good morning, Jacob.
Hey, how is it?
How's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a lag.
There's no
but otherwise,
audio?
I hear you.
I can't know. Can you hear? All right.
We can hear.
Thumbs up if you can hear me. No? Okay. All right. Oh, all right.
I guess this is the problem with virtual events. Eduardo, are you on GatherTown?
Yes, I'm in the bar next to the bagels.
Angela, have you tried out GatherTown?
Yeah, I should also be very close to the bagels, actually, because that would also be my favorite place.
Oh, true. Are you excited about finally having Montreal bagels again?
Yes, of course. I miss them so much, like unbelievably so much.
I have a very embarrassing thing to admit that I thought I would never admit as a New Yorker, but after 7 years of being in Montreal, I'm not actually sure that I can, with full confidence, say that New York bagels are my favorite, which is very, I don't know how to feel about this anymore. I want like a hybrid between the two.
I don't know. I think I prefer the Montreal ones.
You know, like if you really think about them, like the Montreal ones are a lot more dense and they're a bit sweeter too.
They are sweeter, yeah, because they're boiled in the honey water. Remy, are you laughing about the fact that we've now turned this into a question about bagels and which bagels are superior?
Okay. The best bagel I've ever had, though, was in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
like, I think we have this for bagel all the time. Like, I'm not joking.
Do you remember where in Brooklyn? Because I'm currently in Brooklyn.
It's called Bread Brothers, something like that. Bread Brothers Cafe. It's in Greenpoint. Yeah, I had like their everything bagel with olive cream cheese, and I don't know, it was just really perfect.
Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, hold on. Jacob, do you, I guess I'll message him because he obviously, I don't know if you can hear me. Otherwise, if anybody else wants to try and then Jacob can go after them. Or if anybody else wants to test coming on screen, I see that Kendra's here and Kendra's going to be one of our TAs. She could introduce herself to those who are currently online. Anyone's welcome.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
I think I might have figured it out. Is this better?
Yes.
This is less laggy?
Yes. I think so, yeah.
Okay, it's still a little screwed. I might move to a different computer, and that might work. Okay. Thanks. All right. See you in a bit.
All right, bye. I will invite Kendra on screen then. I think Jacob, you might. Okay, I guess I have to wait until Jacob exits. Perfect. Okay. Oh, never mind. Jacob's reconnecting. My bad. I think
we should remind people to change their names on Crowdcast if they can, because I still see a lot of. Well, now.
Oh, yeah. I feel like most of the names that I'm seeing are.
I think it was quick.
Okay. Cool. Okay. In that case, I will invite Kendra now. It was preventing me previously because you can only have 4 people max. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Chris. I also added a button for gather time, but I don't know if it's visible to people.
I don't see it anywhere.
I think when you click call to action. Oh, wait. Show. Oh, I'm an idiot. Never mind. Now it's at the very bottom. Hi, Kendra.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I am actually currently eating cereal, but I will also not chew on screen.
That's fine. Everybody can chew on screen. I don't actually care. I just felt like maybe the first hour that I'm online, I won't do that, but each their own. Are you currently in Ontario or Montreal?
Yeah, I'm in Ontario.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
But same time zone as Montreal. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. Angela, have you met Kendra before?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think Kendra literally joined the M&I like 1 month after you left Montreal. So that would explain it.
Yeah. Where were you working?
I was working with Pierre Villec at the IUGM.
Oh, okay. Cool. Am I supposed to like introduce myself or how does
If you'd like to, yeah. I mean, there's like literally no protocol here.
No pressure.
Okay.
It's just coffee.
I'm awkward,
coffee with
so
friends.
I just want more people on screen as well. Being perfectly honest about it.
Well, I can talk about bagels.
How did you pronounce it just now?
Okay, yes. Okay, this is what I was going to bring up. When I was working in New York, they thought it was hilarious how I pronounced bagels.
Because that's not the right way to pronounce it.
That's clearly the way to...
I love trying out that in the morning. Thank you, Edward.
The thing is, I can't really hear the difference. So they'd ask me to say it, and then they'd say it, and I'd be like, what? I'm saying the same thing as you.
How do you say pasta? And
Pasta?
bag?
Bag.
There we go.
Bagels.
The first time I heard the Canadian accent is actually my first year in Montreal. My roommate was from Halifax, and she said pasta bag. I don't know, the way that she said it, this is so new to me. I've never heard people pronounce these words this way.
Yes, I once got super nerdy about it with a friend, and we found an article about how the vowels are different in different parts of Canada, and yeah, we could go down.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but I do think New York bagels are better than Montreal bagels. Montreal bagels are just dry, I find. The New York bagels were so I don't know, they're just good. Also, we got free bagels every 2 weeks in my department for breakfast. If you showed up for the meeting, I think they were bribing us.
They definitely were bribing you, Kendra. I don't know. I think that I prefer the flavor of New York bagels, but I've come to kind of abhor just how massive they are. I feel like every time I come back to New York, they're just bigger and bigger and bigger. My dad was telling me that when he Hi, Natasha. My dad said that when he moved to New York City in the 1970s, they were so much smaller. And then, as with all things American, they just kept getting larger. So.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, bagels can be a full meal. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, absolutely. They're just, I don't know. Does anybody else have any opinions on bagels that they want to share? We could also take a poll, and then we could vote for it.
I tasted both, and I like the Montreal ones more. But I mean, you have to have the, cream cheese and the salmon. Otherwise, I don't think I will eat either of them.
Wow. Okay.
Just
no, I think a really good bagel should be able to stand on its own. You don't need lox or anything with it, right?
Is that a rule or?
I don't know. Maybe I'm a purist. I also have a blog where I rate bagels. So.
Guys, I made a poll.
Oh, where's this?
I see.
I could also add specific options like Saint Viateur bagels, Fairmount bagels. I don't know, any specific New York.
Okay. I'm super passionate about this Fairmount versus Saint Viateur thing though, and I really think it depends on which bagel. I can't say for sure I would never say all the bagels that they have at one place is better than all the ones at the other.
I am pretty confident that my favorite Montreal bagel is the Everything Bagel from Fairmount.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so good.
See,
Mathieu agrees with me. Not about the everything, but just about the Fairmount bagels. And it's true that that's the thing. It's while they're still warm, they're excellent. It's just that they literally get stale in the matter of under 5 hours, which is so disappointing. So you just have to cut them immediately in half and freeze them.
I've never actually had a Fairmount bagel.
Really?
Oh my gosh, you need to.
I had a Saint Viateur bagel, and I was like, oh, I don't like Montreal bagels, and I gave up.
Wow. Wait, so in Ontario, where you're from, are there Fairmount or Saint Viateur bagels being sold in grocery stores?
I don't think so.
Okay. Worth an ask. I don't know.
There's a bagel place.
By any chance, because there's some really good bagels in the Ottawa area that are Montreal style.
Okay, I haven't tried them, but
I think there's a New York style bagel bakery. Bagelery? What are they called? I think they should be.
I don't know.
And they were really good. I don't know.
Celine.
I guess it also depends on where in Montreal. Sorry, I guess it also depends on where in Montreal you eat them, right? I mean, it's not the same everywhere, I find.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's sort of what we were getting at. You have these two main bagel bakers or bagelers, as Kendra, I guess, just invented the term. Saint Viateur and Fairmount. And if you go to just a regular chain grocery store, the bagels that they sell there are garbage. It's the same as, in New York City. there are a lot of good bagels, but there are also trash bagels. Sorry, this is clearly a topic that I feel very strongly about.
I'm really happy that this is what we're talking about right now.
What about favorite bagel toppings?
Ooh, scallion cream cheese, bacon, and tomato.
Ooh, I have not tried that. My favorite is plain cream cheese, smoked salmon, arugula, and capers.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just like a bagel, egg, and cheese that you can get at a bodega in New York City. They're always good. That's actually one thing that I really missed when I was in Montreal. I discovered Hinawi Bros like in my last year or two of being in Montreal, and I was so sad that I hadn't gone there earlier.
Are you back in New York now?
I am back in New York. Yes, I'm at my parents' place. But I was going to say I feel bad that we now have 3 people who have either lived in or are from Montreal. I guess actually not. Angela, you're not from Montreal. You're from Ottawa.
Correct.
Okay, so none of us are actually from Montreal. But Eduardo, do you want to talk about Mexican food? We can talk about other food that isn't just like a Montreal staple.
Is that also like New Year's staple, right? Bagels. We don't have bagels here, so I mean, we do, but it's not like people eat that much bagels in the morning.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite dishes that I had a lot when I was in Mexico City is chilaquiles. Or How do you pronounce it properly?
Chilaquiles.
So good. Chilaquiles. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh yes. So good. Yeah. Now I need to go to get some. It's very, we had the problem with Mexican food in the morning is that you have like a really big breakfast if you go to a restaurant or something like that, right? So I mean, I don't have that every morning, but it's if you have, it's amazingly good. Yeah, but I mean, we don't have to talk about food. Maybe some people haven't eaten.
Oh, no, I was actually just about to respond to Remy. He said, Lisa, we've been working together for the past X months, and I had no idea you were so passionate about bagels. To which I was going to say, food is literally my favorite topic. It's all I care to ever talk about. I mean, there are other things like neuroscience, but I actually considered abandoning undergrad at one point and going to culinary school. So I'm happy to talk about food, but we can talk about other things.
Muffins. You make really good muffins. That's all I've tasted.
Oh yeah, I did do that one time. Yeah.
Had fancy cheese in.
Okay. Oh, Christoph Pole is missing Lender's Bagels. Where is that from? I don't know.
Oh, New York City.
Oh wow, New York is indeed winning right now. I mean, it's only 8-5 at the moment. I guess we can talk about something else. I feel bad that I've sort of made this be about bagels.
I can also let somebody else try to join if.
Yeah. Okay. Jacob, I guess maybe he wants to join again. Okay. Cool. Yeah. In that case, Kendra, you will have to exit.
It's all cool. My cereal's getting soggy, so.
Enjoy it. Bye. Cool. It says accepted and connected. I guess. I don't see him yet. Maybe there's a delay. I don't know.
We can hear him.
Nada. Okay.
I understood that reference. I think he's having problems with the video.
Okay. We'll wait. That's fine. We don't really have anywhere to be, I guess. I mean, in 21 minutes, we're supposed to start the welcome session.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
all right. Great. Perfect.
Hello again.
Is it better this time?
Much better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Way better.
Windows, I was trying on a Linux machine, and that's always weird.
Mm-hmm.
What? No, don't hate on Linux machines.
One more time?
Don't hate on Linux machines.
No, they're fantastic, and I prefer them. It's my main environment, but all these applications are built for Windows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or Mac or something like that.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Speaking of, my favorite bagel place in Atlanta. It's this Bagel Palace. It was a Jewish-owned bakery. They had the best lox. Oh my god! You get a little s'mores on it. Just delicious.
Is there a big Jewish community in Atlanta?
Huge, yeah.
I didn't know that.
What is it? T something. Yeah, it's like this section of town. You see like all these Hasidic and conservative Jews walking to shul every every Saturday, Friday, something like that. It's very nice. Tucker, or Toco Hills. Toco Hills. That's it.
Cool. I've never been to Atlanta, but next time I go, I'll definitely check it out.
It's great. We have the greatest protests.
I mean, New York has some good protests. I went to one in Brooklyn. Well, it was like Brooklyn and Manhattan last weekend, actually. It was really good. They've also just like been ongoing.
Yeah, it's a cool time to be a global community with that sort of span, that sort of perspective.
For sure. Yeah. So one thing I'll quickly say before you present, Remy said that we might actually need 2 screens so that you can share your presentation in the other one, in which case, Angela, I will have to ask you to leave, if that's okay?
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Cool. Okay. I'm not actually sure how that'll work with having one screen be dedicated to your slides.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess if I just like close my video, then I'll just be like out. Never mind. Sorry, I X'd you out, Angela. I'm sorry, but okay. So now I'm not sure how we actually add one of the. Oh, okay. Eduardo's also gone. Hello?
Yeah. Is this
Okay.
it? You're seeing.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I got some work to do in the next hour or so.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I guess it works. It just you choose whichever window.
Perfect. Okay. Cool. I mean, again, I appreciate the honesty. Knowing myself, I would not have my project pitch done more than probably 20 minutes before I have to go up and present it. So all good.
Right on. Yeah.
Cool. Yes. Awesome. Does anybody else in that case want to test out whether or not they can connect to Crowdcast?
Yeah. See you guys in chat.
Bye. Okay, I guess I'll just scroll through whoever's currently online and then ask if they'd like to go up, unless anybody just volunteers beforehand. Oh, I see Eric is online. Maybe he wants to present. Just gonna invite people on screen. Sorry if I'm just kind of calling you out. I unfortunately don't have every single project memorized, so it's just whatever name I recognize from all the GitHub issues. And also, I see that some people haven't actually set their usernames to be their actual name. Is just like user and then a bunch of letters and numbers. So please change them to like a recognizable name if you can.
Hello.
Hi, Eric. Good morning. Nice to officially meet you, I guess.
Yeah, it's exciting. So you're just inviting any of us randos up at this point?
I am. Yeah. I mean, everyone's welcome, especially if you have a project. We just want to make sure that everybody can connect and present their stuff.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So, did you just want me to test screen sharing real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find something fun.
Do you also not have your slides ready yet?
Correct.
Nice. I feel like I'd make such a terrible teacher. I feel like I'd be so like lax with my students. It would be bad.
I'm gonna sort of co-lead the project that we've elected with Swipes for Science stuff with Anders Brown. So I'm gonna place all the blame on him right now because I don't even think he's awake right now.
And so the Swipes for Science, it's based on Anisha's app, right?
That's right, Anisha Keshavan.
Yeah.
So she developed the Braindir platform. There we go. That's a fun thing to
I've
show.
used Braindir. I actually did pretty well. I remember when I was playing it like super actively. I was like kind of high on the leaderboard. It was fun.
All right, so let's see. Share screen. Let's try it. To close message. Okay, can people see that?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so my screen shares just fine. So I'll close that for now. There we go. I saw a lot of discussion of bagels. How long did you talk about bagels?
Oof, probably an embarrassingly long time.
More than enough. More than enough, I think.
More than enough, yes. There's a poll. Kendra said now long enough. Oh, not long enough. Never mind.
I see. I see.
Do you feel strongly about any particular bagel variety?
No, there's not a great deal of options in Portland, I would say. In Oregon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I go to Einstein Brothers frequently, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Portland is just like the land of all like the hippie artisanal stuff. I would imagine there's just like some artisanal bagel place that's opened up.
I wouldn't know. I frequent like stuff in a lot of what's the word, like mom and pop kind of shops. You know, family-owned businesses, food carts. There's a lot of food carts in Portland. Voodoo Donuts, yes, thank you, Jacob Billings.
I love donuts too.
Although, if you're a real Portlander, Sesame Donuts is the way to go.
As in, is it just like a regular donut that has sesame coating?
Sesame Donuts is the, I guess, brand name, the shop name for the place. But Voodoo is the more popular, well-known one.
Okay.
But if you want a quality donut that's simple, plain, to the point, you go to Voodoo. I mean, Sesame Donuts. Yeah.
Oh. I'm much less informed about donuts than I am about bagels, so I can't contribute as much to this discussion.
That's fine.
Cool.
So, yeah, what institution or group are you with?
Oh yeah, sure. Technically, none at the moment. I'm in between finishing my master's and starting a PhD, as I guess I will tell everybody like in about 20 minutes. But I'll just say now anyway. No, it's fine. So I graduated from a master's degree at McGill University. I was in the integrated program in neuroscience, and I'm starting a PhD. It's like a joint program between the NIMH and UCL, so it's going to be half in Washington, D.C., or Bethesda, and half in London.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm starting in 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Oh, 3 weeks, virtually, so that's going to be interesting. I don't think I ever anticipated starting a degree remotely, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and Eduardo is an assistant professor in Mexico at UNAM.
Yes.
Very cool. Hi. And hi, everyone. I mean, you've got 73 people here. I'm flattered that you chose me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess since we have some time left before the welcome ceremony, maybe we can let some other people test their connection out as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
I'll see everyone later during the project pitches.
Cool. Does anybody want to join? If so, just like mention it in the chat. Otherwise, I will once again just pick a person whose name I recognize.
Randomly and just eating a bagel.
Yeah. No, I mean, fine. I will pick people then. Eduardo, do you recognize any names?
Yeah, I think I do. Let me just go and hunt for someone.
You can do this time.
Okay, let's see. Well, there was Katya there. And who else?
I think Pradeep could join if he wants to. No, here. I'm just gonna invite another person. Damn, New York bagels really are winning at the moment. I wonder if it's just because we have more Americans than Canadians.
Maybe. I didn't know about any bagels until I went to New York, and then I went to Montreal. And I mean, I don't find them part of my culture, but they're good if I have to.
Understandable. Yeah.
I guess we can invite Katya or Pradeep if you want.
Yeah, I think I invited. Oh yeah, I invited him a few seconds ago. Gonna reprompt. Gonna be annoying. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he's in GatherTown, he might not actually see it. In which case, I'll invite somebody else. Cancel. I think. Who do I want to invite? Actually, here, I'll just invite Alejandro. He's one of our hub managers and a friend of mine.
Sure. Cool. You should be connecting.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Morning.
How you
How's everybody?
doing well? Were you there for the bagel conversation?
I did. I heard a bit about that. All I have is coffee. So
Same. I'm just drinking my iced coffee.
I do have to say that Montreal bagels are without a doubt the best.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Very
strong. Fine. Fine.
Don't get me wrong. New York bagels are definitely
You'll have to reconsider that friendship now.
They're special. I really like them. But when I went to Montreal, I just really couldn't get enough of those bagels.
Can I ask you why? Like, what specific attributes of the Montreal bagels do you find superior?
I think I feel like they're like chewier, maybe? I don't know. It's like a different type of chewiness. They're more like neutral in a way, you know?
Oh, absolutely. That's the problem. They have no salt in them, or like a very minimal amount of salt, which I find so bleh. But
yeah, I could see why you wouldn't like that, because I do like sourdough, generally speaking. So, you know, I do like New York bagels. And honestly, here's the thing. I'm gonna admit that I probably haven't had the best ones.
Okay.
So, you know, that's a very possible
yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I wasn't expecting it. Maybe that's what it was. It was also like an expectation thing. So I was like, I heard about it right before I went, but it's not this thing you grow up like. Everyone's like, oh my god, New York bagels. And then Montreal is just like, I got there. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And the places are cool. You have to admit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that Montreal is just like on the whole a more humble place than New York City. I mean, Canada in general, I think.
Yes,
that's true. This is true.
Yeah. Hi, Stefano. I'll just say hi to like everybody who I see post.
There's also people from I think people from Asia and Europe that couldn't get to the other ones, I think.
Yeah.
Or they just don't sleep, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's everything going with the other session?
Pretty well. So we had Remy and Angela Tam, who's working with the APAC Hub. They both joined earlier. So Remy said that their Git and GitHub session, the streaming ended up being a bit like bleh, and so they ended up having to revert to just like the YouTube recording, or like what had already been posted to YouTube. For APAC, they're using Zoom, so their setup is a bit different. But apparently, they didn't really have too many problems. Chowgan's he had a MATLAB session, and then apparently like his connection just broke. But then Kelly or somebody else from the hub just like fixed it very quickly. So things seem to be going well. I see people are pretty active in GatherTown. I joined the GatherTown last night.
I think the power of self-organization is pretty strong, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So hopefully that means I don't have to do much today.
Yeah, I guess for people who don't know Alejandro, he's one of our two hub managers. He's also one of the two people you can go to if you have like a code of conduct complaint or you feel that somebody has violated it. My hope is that there won't be any violations and Alejandro will have even less on his plate to deal with. But yeah.
I'm here. Please, I'm open. So if that or any other concerns, if you have any questions, I'll do my best to try to connect you to the right people. I'm basically just I'm act as a buffer for Lisa. So if Lisa's like running around overwhelmed, just send stuff to me, and then I'll see what I can do. That's basically my role. That's from what I understand.
Yeah. That and my like pseudo big brother, I guess,
That's
is
right.
like the role that you have adopted.
That's true. That's true. I'm very there's a family here at Brainhack.
Yeah. I don't know if Arshita is around because we could briefly introduce her as well. I will check if she's online.
She was on GatherTown, but I don't know now.
Okay. Cool. I guess we have like a few minutes left. Does anybody else potentially want to just like test their connection? Like anybody who's going to be pitching a project? No,
Like
maybe.
You're trying to think of who to put on the spot.
Oh, I mean, I already put people on the spot. I have zero problem doing that. Cool, Dorota. I will invite you on screen. I am inviting you, Dorota. Cool. Accepting and connect. Alejandro, I'm going to have to ask you to bounce because Dorota's going to need a second screen.
All right. Bye.
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 Talk to you later. You're going to kick me off, right? Oh, there you go. Do I have to click something?
I guess I'll kick you off. Cool. Hi, Dorota.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Well, you can, okay. So I will be sharing my screen during the pitching. Okay. And how is the sharing the screen? Where is the? Oh, is it here? No. Oh, okay. Share the screen. Does it work?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. I have to say finish my presentation, but yeah, that works.
Yeah, perfect.
That's cool. Thank you so much.
Cool. I'm actually going to be right back. Eduardo, I'll let you take over, and I'll talk on my video for now.
Cool. Good. And Dorota is gone. I can still hear someone there. I don't think I can invite people. I think I can just talk. Morning, everyone. So we're almost going to start here. So if you haven't checked the schedule, I think you should do now. I think you should do that. We'll start with the welcome first, and then the project pitches. Someone has weird stuff is happening. Okay, hi Lisa.
Hello.
We're having some issues. So yeah, Dorota was kicked as well, I think, and I think your mic was on.
Oh, okay.
But I can't move anything, so I'm not. I don't have any permissions here.
Oh, sorry. Oh no, Dorota said that she left.
Oh, okay. I think there was a problem there.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, maybe I clicked on something when I left.
What's 10?
Okay, well, yeah. I guess in that case, I will start by showing. Well, actually, how about we first introduce ourselves very briefly? So, for those of you who are just joining right now, my name is Lisa. I'm one of the two Brainhack or OHBM Brainhack co-chairs and part of the Open Science Special Interest Group. So, as I mentioned previously, I am, I guess, currently in between places. I just finished my master's degree at McGill University, and can people hear me? Or oh yeah,
I do.
cool. Yes, great. So I just finished my master's degree at McGill University, and I'm starting a PhD at the NIH and UCL. And so, Eduardo, my Brainhack co-chair, if you want to, or my co-host, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Eduardo Garza. I'm an assistant professor in UNAM in Mexico, not in Mexico City, but near. And I work with substance use disorders, mainly with neuroimaging in several species, so humans, macaques, and rats, mice, and some other ones. But that's what I do at the moment. And it's my first time hosting, and I've been to some Brainhack. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Cool. Yeah, I see that Pradeep can't hear. Pradeep, I would suggest refreshing. I had this problem previously where I had gone in. Okay, great. So Remy Go, who is my Brainhack co-chair, we were like the two people who were initially involved with this event, but the team for the event has just like massively grown. We realized that this is just like not a two-person job. In order to really make this event a truly like global virtual event, we really needed to recruit the help of a ton of different people. So I guess I will share my screen, have a quick video, figure out how to do this. Application, okay. Is that
good?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we can see something. Yep. But we can't hear it.
Oh, damn it. One sec, sorry. I knew that this would end up happening. How do I? Oh, damn it. Okay, what do I? You couldn't hear anything?
No. Well, we can see the video, but we can't hear it. But
okay,
this was bound to happen.
One second. Oh, okay. I think I know what I needed to do. Okay. Do you hear now?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You should.
Allowing the audio from change the mic settings. How do I do that?
Yes, in settings.
Toggle.
Oh yeah. I can see where. Yeah, if you go to settings, you have it on your. If you put the mouse on your screen, you should have some settings coming up. Change camera and mic, the gear, and then you can just choose which. Yeah, we don't hear you. I just closed my video so people can see.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rémi Go.
Good.
I'm a postdoctorate at the Université Catholique de Louvain in Belgium, and I'm the Hackathon co-chair for the OHBM Brainhack. And this is my co-host, Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I just finished my master's degree at McGill University, and I'm about to start my PhD at the NIH and UCL. And I am the other Hackathon co-chair, and we're very, as we all know, this event is virtually, and this was a pivot that I think none of us really expected.
Okay, I think something happened to Lisa. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll see if I can just put the video myself. I'm not sure if that will work. Do I need anything special to allow for the video to be heard? Okay, I'll just try it and see. Do any other software to make the video be heard? Selim? Okay, just hold on a bit. Having some technical issues, but we'll figure it out. Okay, I'll try that. Hi, I was just about to try to share the video myself, but if you figure it out, I can stop. We don't hear you anymore. You need to change the settings. We don't hear you. Okay, I'll try. Yeah, it might be the screen sharing thing. Okay.
How about now?
Good.
Okay, my bad. I had it set to the loopback still. So many things to toggle. I think this is why Annabelle suggested that he just like stream everything. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't see any. Oh, I see the Zoom audio device. Would that be the one?
Yeah, so I see the screen.
Okay.
I don't hear anything. This is annoying. Okay. Remy, do you remember how you did it when you were streaming this video? Okay. I can try one more time. Maybe it'll work. I think part of the problem is that I had to change the mic setting to be for loop. Pradeep, well, I guess, yeah, I mean, Remy's here, you know what? Why not just do that? Perfect. Great.
Hello.
Hi.
I guess we're doing that, right? Okay.
Why not?
Sure. Brilliant. I just want to mention that I want to just like taking the opportunity to say thanks to Greg, who heard that I was not eating and then got food delivered at my place just like this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll take that because otherwise I'm not going to eat. I know myself. Anyway, so we're doing the whole thing we did yesterday, but like now we're doing it live.
I guess. Yeah.
Cool. Where are my notes? I don't have notes. Okay, cool.
Notes for any of this. Remy, you go first.
Okay, that's how we did it. Okay, cool. So hi everyone. Hi, the 120 of you. I'm Rémi Gaud. I'm a postdoc at the Université Catholique de Louvain in Belgium. And I'm one of the two hackathon co-chair for this year OHBM Brainhack. And my colleague is...
Hi, I am Lisa. I have now done this introduction twice this morning, I think. But I am, so I just finished my master's degree at McGill University in the integrated program in neuroscience. And I am starting a PhD it's a joint program between the NIMH and UCL. So it's partly in Bethesda and partly in London. And welcome everybody. So if I remember what we said in the previous video, I'm trying to collect my thoughts right now. So obviously this is a virtual event. About 4 months ago, none of us anticipated this being a virtual event. This pivot is one that, we never anticipated having to make, and it's been interesting. I think we have all learned a lot throughout the process. There have been quite a few obstacles that we had to encounter. One of which being whether or not we have this event take place across multiple hubs, or if we just do it all in one go. And I mean, we figured that if we have the opportunity to have an event that's actually accessible to literally anybody with internet connection and a computer, why not do that? So, that required finding. I'm not sure exactly how many volunteers we have, but I mean, go and look at our team page on our website. I feel like every day just gets longer and longer and longer. So again, a massive thank you to literally everybody who has volunteered their time to help us make this event happen. Remy, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
I think that one point that it was, we have a lot of newcomers. So a lot of people who've never been to a hackathon event before. So we want to take this opportunity to sort of really welcome you into the community. It's going to be a bit of a different format compared to the usual conference you might have gone to before. So you expect a little bit of confusion. You're not going to be sure what the whole thing is about, but just know that there are also a lot of people around who've been to a few of those, and they can really you can definitely rely on them and just ask questions around. And that's the idea of the community. We sort of here to sort of help each other and learn from each other. So being confused is okay, but asking question is more than okay.
Yes.
And
cool.
I don't know. I don't
there
think...
there wasn't a whole lot more to say. We mostly just, wanted to take the opportunity to introduce ourselves, given the fact that, we were the two people who sort of were, I think, most involved in the event. I mean, we also wanted to have Camille join in as well, but I think Camille cannot at the moment, unfortunately. Camille Moret is the chair of the Open Science SIG, and she, I think Camille's also incredibly modest, and was surprised about the fact that we even wanted her to be part of our intro video. But no, she's been amazing, and she has really helped make this event really, hopefully, I think, a success. Other than that, Eduardo and I are going to be over a set of slides. We'll be going over the organization and the structure of the event. We'll be introducing you to a bunch of different resources. So there are a bunch of Mattermost channels where you can ask more general questions, and we have topic-specific channels. We will have, as we will mention, there are a bunch of different projects. I keep saying a bunch of, sorry guys. People have proposed a total of, I believe, 36 or 37 projects across all the hubs. 20 or 21 of which are taking place in the Americas hub. So this is going to be extremely active. Those of you who have proposed a project, you've been told that you only get 2 minutes to actually pitch your project because there are just so many of them, and we want to give people time to ask questions. Aside from that, I think that that's sort of it. Yeah, I think I just wanted to be able to show Remy's face to all of you since he's been so involved in all of this. Also, Remy's great, and I'm really glad that you've now finally nourished yourself with some food.
Well, no, the food is here. I have not eaten it yet, but I'm about to go and do that right away. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll let you have your first day of the hackathon. Everyone enjoy, and I'll see you around because I'll be around. Okay, ciao everyone.
Bye, Remy. Great. So I'm gonna have Eduardo come back on screen. Also, I'm so sorry for how awkward I am. This is my first time having to speak in front of this many people, and it terrifies me. Cool. Okay. Aw, I don't even know who's running who's logged in as the Open Science SIG, but thank you. Probably Camille. Okay. Eduardo, come join on screen. Oh, you're here. Cool. Okay. I can't hear you. Maybe your mic is set to a different.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Sorry. I was just saying that it's it's a new experience for everyone to be, doing a hackathon online, and everything can go bad. So please be patient. and yeah, we're here for you. So whatever you need, just let us know. We'll try to figure it out quickly.
Awesome. So Eduardo, do you want to share your screen with the boys, or should I do it?
If you're afraid, I can do it.
I think I can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no audio, so I think it should be less problematic this time.
Sure. Try it. If not, I can do it. We'll just start with some slides.
Okay. Oh, that's where the focus screen thing was coming from. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna slide. Wait, where's the present?
You can just put to the right. There's something called present. Okay, that works too.
Perfect. Can everybody see this?
I can see it, so I hope everyone can see it.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, so as I mentioned, we have a set of slides just to go over the organization of the event. So I guess, Eduardo, tell me when I can just click next.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you know. So yeah, welcome to the new version of the OHBM Brainhack, which is supposed to be held in Montreal, but now it's worldwide. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of the people there from different parts of the world that they can attend to this. And so far, it's been good, I hope. The Asia hub started, the APAC, or the Asia
Pacific
started before us. That was the first one. Yeah. And then the Europe Middle East started before this one, and now we're in. So thanks for joining. Can you go next, please? So just so you know that there's a code of conduct that you need to follow. So and you can check it out. It's the OHBM code of conduct, and you need to adhere to it. So if anyone doesn't do it, you can report that to Arshita or Alejandro. You can see them there. Or if you can go to the website, you can also try to find them there. They're in Mattermost, so please use your Mattermost most you can, because that's where you'll find everyone. But please, you just try to respect everyone, behave just normally. And if not, then you can report them, all right? Next, please.
Oh, sorry, 1 second.
Sure.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. No worries.
That's fine. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm so bad at sharing this.
No worries.
Okay, I'm just going to leave this here and then tell me when to go next.
Yeah. So so the netiquette. So basically, you can go to the virtual desktop registration. It's just there. There's a website that you got from the email. If not, then let us know and we'll send it to you. It's just basic stuff to be online. So the video chats, please, when you use video, if you're not actually giving a talk, then just mute your mics. And if you want to say something, just raise your hand. I mean, I prefer to raise the hand on the software, but if you want to just do it physically, you can do it. But I don't know if everyone will be able to see you if we have like 20 people in the same video. So just just the software. I think that will be easier. Build a kinder, more inclusive, future-aware environment. This means that in Brainhack, we have a philosophy of include instead of exclude, collaborate instead of competing, sharing instead of hoarding, acting instead of being complacent, and mentor instead of bullying. So just be nice. That's it.
Yeah.
So about the Brainhack, as you know, it's been a long since it started, and it's kind of divided into 3 different things, you could say, which is the hack track, train track, and the Unconferences, which they all have it's just basically a good environment to do research, I think, and it's fast research, but it's also like nice research. I find it. So it's not based on collaboration. It's based on collaboration, not on competition. So we try to participate and do what we can. And so in the hack track, for example, so it's basically the hack track is to do a project in there. So do a basic collaboration, or just have people in the same place that want to collaborate that wouldn't be there otherwise. Usually you collaborate with people that you know, or someone else that tells you. It's not easy to collaborate. We can all agree on that. And in the hackathons, we try to make it as smooth as possible. And we also have the Unconferences, which is basically a quick presentation made on site by attendees. So anyone can talk about anything they want. They can talk about the research, they can talk about their other things they want to talk about. And the idea for this is to also have great talks about this. You will meet people. Usually it's face-to-face, but this is going to be a new thing for everyone, but I think it's going to be good. Brain hacks are great to meet people that that are fun to work with, and that actually you can also find people that you want to work with. And there's also the train track, which is the educational part. I think the hack track and the train track both are educational. Even if you don't know that much about programming or anything, you can just go and do and learn by doing. And the idea is that the people that know the most, you will work with them and learn from them. But you also have the train track, which is at the same time usually, where if you think there's something you don't know, then you can just learn it there and ask questions directly. So that's the idea. So it's basically the brain hack. I think for me, it's a great experience to actually learn and to collaborate in research, which is what you want, and make your research also being known by everyone at the meeting. And if you have any questions about what the brain hack is, you can just ask us on Mattermost. Okay, next one, please. So yeah, so the schedule, just it's easy to follow the schedule. Just go to the website and put your time zone there, and you will see the time. So we'll have the train track and the hack track at the same time. So just if you need to look at something from the train track and you need to hack as well, then I think the videos will stay somewhere. At least on Crowdcast. If we're using Zoom, then they won't stay there. So be sure that to attend what you have to attend, right? And so if it's something educational, just go to there, and then you can just hack later. And you can hack even in your own time, so it's not a huge problem, all right? But the hack track, the idea is for everyone to meet on the team. Next, if I don't forget anything. So the train track is basically where the educational courses or the educational sessions, they're mostly going to be pre-recorded. All of them will be pre-recorded to not have any problems. However, the instructor of the teaching assistant will be present to answer your questions. And we can also have support one-on-one if you need it. And there's a help desk that you can go into in Mattermost. So whatever you need, just let us know. And if no one, answers you, just directly message them. That would be, the first thing you should do is just go to the help desk and ask a question, and then no one answers, then just directly address us. We're all the time online at the moment. And next, please. So, and then we have the hack track, which is what I told you about. It's basically the working on the project with all the participants. And we'll have the project pitches first, and then there's a project Q&A. You can pick up a project from the hub or from any other hub. Actually, it's not a problem. Some people I've heard that they want to go into a project in Asia, for example, and then they come to the talks here to the track, to the train track. So it's not a problem as long as you can do it. And you will have hacking time, and the idea is to have hacking time with your team, not by yourself. But if you feel like you need to have time for yourself, you can do that too. Okay, just be sure that you communicate with your team. If you don't know what to do, ask your project leader. I think that's important, to be in communication with them. There's always something you can do. So don't feel that you don't. Next, please. So in the Unconferences, what you will do is just present. It will be a session of 1 hour, but with many speakers giving talks. The idea is for people to present the research, a topic you're interested in, a tool. If you have questions, you can ask them there. Talk about any topics, whatever you want. You can talk. You can just put up your computer. I mean, that's the old way. Now you can just ask, and we can just put your own video and present something or whatever. It's just an opportunity to talk about things you find interesting. Next, please. So as I said, we have 3 hubs sharing the common program and about 300 attendees across the world. Asia Pacific, the European, Middle East, Africa, and America. So feel free to hop into any of them, actually. Yeah, it's not a problem. You can ask leaders in different projects, whatever you want. We're basically, the idea is that it's the same content, but the projects will be different. Okay. And where will it happen? So the idea is that the welcome, for example, the wrap-up and the conferences and the train track will be on Crowdcasts mostly. So just come to this channel and come in. For the project Q&As and socials, we have Zoom. And every project will have their own way, because not everyone has Zoom. So some people use Jitsi, for example. And there's also GatherTown. That, as you can see, we have a button right here that says GatherTown. It's more like a video game type of social communication. So you can also go there, whatever you feel comfortable with. And for the hacking, there's, again, whatever the project people are using, you will use. So feel free to let us know if you have problems with this as well, okay? But mainly, we'll be on the Crowdcast.
Cool. Yeah, so as we mentioned, we're using Mattermost quite a bit. Most of the content that we are presenting on Crowdcast is being streamed. The only parts that we aren't streaming are the project pitches, since we haven't gotten consent from every single person who is pitching a project. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, follow us on social media if you're not already doing so. Specifically, follow the OHBM Open Science Twitter account. And yeah, so for general announcements, definitely check the OHBM Hackathon channel. That's where things that pertain to every single participant will be posted. And yeah, we have the Brainhack welcome desk where you can just come and chat with other members of the Open Science SIG. We're also going to have GatherTown available. I mean, it's actually already available, and I know that some of you were already using it in the hour preceding this presentation. So to identify staff and volunteers on Mattermost, we have all updated our photos to have this Open Science logo over here, so definitely be on the lookout for that if you need help from anybody. And if you need technical support, please go to the Help Desk General channel. So right now, I'd like to also thank all of our sponsors, and in particular, we'd like to thank the International Neuroinformatics Coordinating Facility, so INCF, the Canadian Open Neuroscience Platform, which the CONP will actually be giving a presentation tomorrow. Then we also have CNeuromod, which is based in Montreal, and the Wellcome Center for Integrative Neuroimaging. And so some of our sponsors actually have a message. So to learn more about INCF, you can go to their website. Same goes for CNeuromod, and CONP also has a message, so I'll just read that out loud. So CONP is an open science infrastructure for sharing neuroscience data. This platform brings together many of the country's leading scientists in basic and clinical neuroscience to form an interactive network of collaborations in brain research, interdisciplinary student training, international partnership, clinical translation, and open publishing. The CONP aims to propel Canada's basic neuroscience community into a new era of commonly shared, digitally integrated data and algorithmic-rich neuroscience research for the 21st century. Using this approach, CONP intends to enable discovery in neuroscience and accelerate cures for diseases affecting the brain. And they'll be talking more about their platform tomorrow, and some representatives from CONP will be available for you to ask some more questions if you'd like to use it in your own work. It is a Canadian platform, but it is accessible to people around the world as well. And so they also have a Brainhack project that they're going to be working on, and so you're welcome to join that. So yeah, if you have any questions, I guess now is the time to ask. I will stop sharing. Sorry guys. Did I stop sharing?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
So we have to, well, I have one question on the ask questions. I don't know if it's, when do you decide who's working on what project as part of the hackathon? So can you hear me?
I can.
Lisa?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So the question says, when do you decide who is working on what project as part of the hackathon?
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, so one thing that we have asked project leads to specify in their issues when they pitch the project on GitHub is concrete issues. So I mean, one thing that I would strongly recommend is after we conclude with the project pitches for today, people will be allowed to go into different channels for like, different project-specific channels. You can ask about what you could contribute to the project. And then I would really recommend after that, once you're actually meeting up with your team members, to have a very clear delineation of who works on what. That honestly would be my main, I guess, proposal for that.
Yeah, I don't think it will work like in, so when you're working in the same place, then it's easy just to drop in.
Yeah.
But here, I think it will work like we have to, I mean, the leaders will have to make sure that everyone is working on something. I think that's important to notice, but also if you feel like you're left out, just ask. And again, Lisa said that each project will have their own channel on Mattermost, so be sure to hop into that one.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a question here by Tashrif. Okay, there's another question here. So, are the train track videos available to view at any time?
Yeah. So in addition to the streaming that we're doing right now, we're also uploading the videos to YouTube. I'm not sure that we've uploaded all of them at the moment, but Git and GitHub are online.
And what are the Twitter hashtags to follow through the hackathon?
So one of them I had just mentioned. It was the
we can just write them down here.
Yeah, for sure. So OHBM Hackathon, Brainhack, and OHBM 2020.
And just write them on the here. That's one. Okay. Any other questions anyone has? Especially the new people. I think that's important too, that they know how this works. And I mean, this is also new, a new setting. So feel free to ask anytime.
No questions?
Anyone else wants?
If nobody has any questions, we could also use, I guess, the 25 minutes or so before the next session to go into GatherTown if you want to just meet people there.
Sure.
I'll stay here. So if anybody does join in and has any questions, oh, they're in the breakfast session. Okay.
No, this is the welcome now. So that was a question by Sophie.
Oh, okay. My bad. Misread that. Oh. Oh, my bad. Apparently I never...
Welcome everyone to our introduction to Git and GitHub. And before we get started, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are gathered today. And for us here in St. Lucia, these are the Turrbal and the Jagera people. We want to explain quickly our teaching approach today, just with bikes. And most quick guides to Git are actually very, very detailed, and they explain you what every function does, what every little piece of Git does, but it's really hard to understand how it all comes together if you've never seen anyone riding a bike. And that's why the tutorial we'll attempt today is I'll just get on a bike and Stefan will explain what's happening in the background. And quickly who we are. So my name is Saskia Bollmann and I'm a postdoctoral research fellow at the Center for Advanced Imaging at the University of Queensland.
And I'm Stefan. I'm the 7 Tesla National Imaging Facility Fellow at the center. And if you have questions to our talk, there will be the teaching assistants that will help out in the chat of the meeting. We will also be there to answer questions. There will also be a help desk channel on Mattermost, and there will also be a Jitsi room where we can talk.
And if you want to have a look at the slides, we'll put them up on our website, mri.sbollmann.net. Cool. So we will go through 4 use cases with you today, just using some code you found on GitHub at the first step. Then we show you how to use version control for your own project, then how to add someone to this project, and then the last stage, how you contribute to a larger project. Okay, so let's get started with number 1. For that, I just went online and searched for a nice example. So I chose fractals in Python, and I just searched for a GitHub repository where some code is provided by someone. And we just click on the first link, and that brings us to the GitHub webpage of that repository. And you can see the name of the repository, the owner, a quick description of what's in the repository. So, for example, what programming language is used, and you can see the content of the repository. When you scroll down, you will get to the README, and that really explains and documents what's in this repository. So here we just have a collection of Python scripts for drawing beautiful figures, and that's exactly what we want to do here today. And as a quick intermezzo, we won't go into details, but we have put a few slides how to install Git and also how to create a nice development environment for Python. We won't show it, but we just want to say for our examples here, we use Visual Studio Code to also highlight a little bit the integration of Git with integrated development environments. And just to let you know, most IDEs like PyCharm, MATLAB, or Studio already have this Git interface, which makes the workflows much more nicer. Cool, so once you've installed Visual Studio Code, but you forget to install Git, it will tell you to do so. And once you've done that, you're represented with 2 options. You can open a folder or clone a repository. And today we want to clone a repository. So do you know why they called it cloning a repository?
Yes, so cloning repository is a Git terminology, and it basically means that we make a copy of a repository from a central server to our own computer. And we only use the word cloning when we do this for the first time, because we copy the files, the working copy, and we also copy the repository, and we establish a link. So the repository knows where it came from, so we can later push content back to this central repository. And as an example, here we have our PyWonderland scripts that this author has on his GitHub account. And then we clone this repository, and we end up with this repository on our computer. And then we go from there.
Exactly. So Visual Studio Code will ask us for the repository URL, and that's something we'll find on the web page. So when you click on the clone button, we'll have this little window pop up, and you just need to click on this button and we'll copy it. And you can then enter the URL of the repository into the Visual Studio Code window, and then it asks you to select a repository location, which is like the location on your local computer, on your local hard drive where you want the repository to be. And once you've selected that, it will start cloning the repository. And once it's finished, it even asks you, would you like to open that? And yes, we want. And once you've opened that, you can see we now have the same content as we've seen online on our local computer. So now that we have it, we can have a quick look on what a repository actually is.
Yes, so what do we mean with repository? So when we look at it in Windows, it's a hidden folder. So if you don't see it, you have to switch that you want to see hidden files. And it's a .git folder. And this .git folder contains subfolders like hooks, info, logs, objects, refs. And if you look in these files, they're quite cryptic. So you can't really see much in there, but this is actually the repository. And then outside of this repository, this is what we call the working copy. This is are the actual files you're working with. And then Git provides tools to explore this repository. So here, one example, git log shows us a commit hash. We'll show later what that is. We'll show on which branch we are, where things came from, who the author is of this code, when this person made changes to the code, and what the person changed. So a repository is a virtual storage of these project files, including its history. And they're basically snapshots of files together with commit hashes.
Yeah, and as we pointed out, it's kind of like the same principle in other IDEs. So whenever you start off a new project, you want to pull something to, or you want to clone something to your local hard drive, you look for the clone repository option, then you give the URL, and the rest will be done for you. And just as a quick summary or overview, you can see on the left-hand side, that was the remote code that we wanted to get to our local hard drive. And on the right, you can see, okay, we now have exactly the same content on our computer. So can you explain what remote means in Git terms?
Yeah, a remote is simply a repository stored on another computer. And you see often the word origin. And origin is the name for a certain remote, and it's the name for the remote repository where we clone from. So in our example, we have the repository of the developer, which we clone from, and it's now locally on our disk. Now we would call this a local copy of the repository, and the remote where we clone from, we call origin. And later we will also see other remotes that we can have in Git.
Exactly. Now we want to run the code. And that's really one of the nice features of using GitHub, because it prompts you to include the documentation of your code. Not only the code itself and its history, but also asks you please document how to use the code, for example. So that's part of the README, and we can look it up and we see, okay, we can just run the example Py scripts. And if you want to do that, you will need a few packages. And again, we have put a few slides in here for you that show you how to add them using Conda. And again, this is part of the README, so it really shows you which are the dependencies that you need to install to run that specific code, which if you only would have the code, you wouldn't know about. So that's really one of the big advantages of using GitHub. And once we've sorted that all out, we actually do get some fractals presented here for us. And right. So this was just a very simple run through how to actually clone something from a remote repository and run it on your computer. And we can have a little bit more of a look inside the history and what's happening. So this is now the history presented online on GitHub, and you can again see, okay, when something happened, who did it, and what that person did. And you see that the history is like written in commits.
Yeah, what is a commit? Committing a change means that we create a snapshot of the project's current status. So the current files that we have in our working copy, we change them, And then whenever we feel like that we made a significant change and we're done with developing a new feature, for example, we will do a commit. And one basic rule is try to commit as often as possible, because the commits don't cost you anything. So they're just snapshots and they're differences to the files. So it doesn't matter if you create once 10 lines or 10 times 1 line, it will be the same for Git. But if you commit very often, you have the chance to go back to these commits individually, and yeah, you get a more transparent way of what happened, how do you develop the project. And also one thing that is really useful is don't say in a commit message, oh, I changed line 10, because everyone can see that when you display it, so Git will display that. What you should put in your commit message is a clear message of the intention. So usually what I put in there is, I intended to fix this problem, because very often this is not what's happening. So it's always good to document what you try to achieve, especially when debugging. When you go back, you figure out, oh, okay, I tried to do this, and actually I broke something else. So that's a good hint.
Exactly. And we can also explore the history of one local file, and you can then see, okay, when was it first added and what were all the changes that were made for that file. And that's kind of like the version control aspect of Git. Cool. So in summary, we have learned what is a remote repository. We have learned the function of the README, which is really the documentation of the code. We learned about commits, that's how the history is written. And we've also seen what a local repository is, and the first Git command, which is clone. But at the moment, we are kind of like only a user and observer of the things that are happening. So in the next step, we want to do version control for our own project. And first you go to GitHub and sign up, and then you create a new repository by clicking on that little button, and you're asked to give the repository a name. And again, you're also asked to provide a description. It's optional, but it's kind of like this prompt to already start the documentation right away. So once you've done that, you create this repository, and then GitHub will present you with a couple of options on how to actually continue from there. And we will follow the example highlighted here. So we will create a new repository on a command line, but you can follow any of these other options as well. So the first thing is you have to create a local folder. And the best thing is to name it exactly the same way as the name of the repository, just to avoid confusion. And then you open Git Bash. And once you've installed Git on your computer, this little icon in the context menu should automatically appear. And then we can just follow the steps along. So the first step is this one, which we just copy paste into the Git Bash command line. And what it will do, it will create a file, the README, and it will also add one line to it. And just to show you what's happening, so I'll see, okay, in my OHBM Git example spawn1 folder, I have now one file. And if I look at it, it exactly has this one line in there. So the next step is to initialize the new repository locally using Git Init. And once I do that, it will tell me, okay, it initialized an empty Git repository in that folder. And a usually useful Git command is git status, which tells us the status of our local Git repository. It tells us we have nothing committed yet, but there's one untracked file, which is the README, which we just created. And it also tells you how to continue from there using git add to add this file to the repository. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we will add the README to our repository, and then check the status again, and we can now see, oh wow, there's a new file that has been added. The next step is to commit our changes, and we can just follow the instructions. And once we put that, it tells us, okay, one file has been changed and one insertion has been made. And when we check the status again, we can see there's nothing else to commit, and our working tree is clean, which is really good. And now we have to add the remote to our repository. So remember, in the first step, we kind of like cloned repository from the GitHub, so the remote repository, to our local hard drive, and that automatically creates that link. We haven't done that here. We have initialized our remote locally, our repository locally, so we have to add the remote now also manually. And once we've done that, you don't really get a feedback, so you might wonder, oh, did it work, did it not work? When you call git status, because the status of the repository, so the files haven't really changed, it won't tell you that it now has this remote. And to get that displayed, you need to use git remote and with the verbosity flag to really see what has happened. And yes, the remote has now been added. And the last step is to push your repository up to GitHub. And when we do that, we will run into a problem because Git has some authentication. So your repositories are actually secured. Not everyone can, when it's a public repository, can download them, but not everyone can push changes to them. So we have to set up SSH keys to authenticate. And again, we have some slides in there you can look at and follow along the instructions to get that going. Cool. So once we've done that and we try again, this time we are successful and we can push our changes to our remote repository. And when we look online, we see that the README has appeared, our commit message has appeared, and also the text that we added to our README file. And for people who have used other version control systems like SVN, it might be a little bit confusing, the commit and push, kind of like this two-step approach. And I think Steffen will explain a little bit why that was introduced.
Yes, why do we have commit and push? And that's also something I wondered in the beginning when I started with Git, because I came from SVN. And there in these older version control systems, you have a central server, and what you do is your commit basically uploads your thing to the central server. And the problem with this is if you are working with hundreds of people together, this is really tedious, because what you had to do in the past is you had to lock a file so that someone else couldn't make a change while you were making a change, because that would create conflicts. And in the old systems, a conflict wasn't handled well. Whereas in Git, a merge conflict and merging is an essential part. So a commit is tracking or creating these snapshots locally on your computer. So no one else sees your commits, which is great, because this means you can also code in an airplane or in a submarine or wherever you are. And you actually don't need internet connectivity to code and to track your changes. However, when you want to change when you want to exchange your history with the central remote, then you can just push. And push means you're uploading all your history to this origin in this case. And then that's where then merging happens and where merge conflicts would appear. But yeah, that's why we have commit and push. It looks more tedious, but it actually gives us a lot of flexibility, and it enables us to work together theoretically with thousands of people. And that's why Git was developed in the first place, because Linus Torvalds was sick of using these old version control systems. And I think they had to pay a license fee suddenly. And that's why over a weekend he wrote Git. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So we can now continue to working on our project, so we can just make some changes online. And I just want to show you how the README actually works, so how you can make it nice, introduce headings and stuff like this. So the README uses Markdown, and there it's a little bit like LaTeX. So you write how your text should look like, and then it's interpreted. I'm just copy pasting that example here, how to make words bold and others italic, how to add links. And when we add that to our file, and then we preview the changes, we can see how we make that really nice and appealing for our users. And since that is a change of the file, I also have to commit it, also when working on the remote. And GitHub really makes it very easy. It asks you to give a commit message, and then you can commit your changes. And when you then look again at your repository, you can see, okay, now we have the heading and some text that I have just added, and that's a new commit. If you now want to continue working locally, for example, using Visual Studio Code, you open Visual Studio Code and you're presented with two options. One is open a folder and the other one is clone repository. In the first example, we used cloning a repository because we didn't have it on our local hard drive yet. But in our case now, we already have the repository locally, so we just need to open the folder. And when you do that, you can see that the README is there, but we don't have all the changes that I just made on the remote on our local version of the repository. So we have to pull these changes to update the local repository. And once I've done that, I'm up to date and can start working along. And for example, now I want to make some changes in Visual Studio Code. So I added the README and then I want to commit that. So I'm creating the history and keeping track of the changes I'm making. When we do that, Visual Studio Code will present us as a question, present us with 4 options, and that's, do you want to automatically stage all your changes and commit them directly? And for most of the people, the answer to that is always, but Steph will explain what's behind that so you know when not to click there.
Yeah, exactly. So the staging area concept also confused me in the beginning. And what it is in the end, we have changes in our folder. So this is our working copy, our working folder. And here I changed 2 files. So let's say I worked on ITK snap, and that's the actual things I want to commit. And then I have an unrelated file. What the staging area now allows me to do, it allows me to pick the files that I want to use and include in the next commit. So if I use the staging area, I could, for example, say, oh, I only want to include ITK snap YAML in the next commit. This would be the modified one. And this unrelated file, I keep that for another commit when it's ready. And then when I do this, I end up in the repository with the committed change to this ITK snap file, but this unrelated file is not committed. So it's still kept as changed, and I can either never commit it if I only need it as a temporary file. It shouldn't end up in a repository, for example. Or let's say I'm still working on it and it's not ready to be committed yet. Then I can do this. But in most instances, I guess all changes that you made should end up in a repository. So that's why clicking always will just keep this a little bit simpler, and you actually don't have to use the staging area. But also, if you clicked always, and let's say you want to exclude one file. So let's say you accidentally created a big file in a repository. It's a temporary file, and now accidentally it's added. What you can do in Visual Studio Code is you can click on it and you can say unstage that file, and then it will not be committed with it. And then you can, for example, ignore the file in a git ignore file, which is very useful if you don't want to include temporary files, because that's not a good idea, as we will show it later.
Exactly. And so when we click on commit and when we click on always, then Visual Studio Code will ask us for a commit message. And again, try to not say what you actually did, but kind of like try to make an intention. My intention was to commit from Visual Studio Code. And once we've done that, we again can push to our remote to keep it up to date. And you can actually look at what is happening in the background in Visual Studio Code, and a lot of stuff will appear, but the important line is git push origin master master. So that means that Visual Studio Code actually uses exactly the same syntax that we would use on the command line ourselves. And then we can go on GitHub and explore a little bit the history of our little repository. So now you can see my changes that I made in Visual Studio Code appeared, and also the commit message with it appeared. And that's really kind of like starting to get into that workflow of committing changes and pushing them and looking at them. And now we can go back to our summary. So we have now learned about the staging area and working copy. We learned about git status, which is a really useful command, which you should use as often as you can. We learned how to commit a change and how to push and pull our changes and interact with the remote repository. And when we explore their history on GitHub. You can also use it locally because it's the same content. The difference, basically, this is the same commit, just differently presented. And personally, I find it a little bit easier to see what's happening on GitHub because on the terminal, it just shows a lot of other things that might not be so useful sometimes. But sometimes it's also really nice because on the terminal, you basically have the full power, but also the full responsibility. Just to show you that, you can also commit from the command line. So now I'm making changes again in Visual Studio Code. I'm deciding I need to edit line, but it's also getting a little bit too crowded. So I now deleted something, which I don't want to have in my code anymore. And I think that's another really nice feature of having this version control. It allows you to write clean code because you can freely delete anything from the current version, but because you have the history and you can go back any point in time. And we call it git status again, and it will show us, okay, we have modified the README, that is true. And we add a commit, or we do our commit and add a commit message. I wanted to clean up my code, and then we push it to our remote repository, and we can see that our commit has appeared here now with the commit message. And when we look in there, we can really get this line-by-line comparison of what has happened. And for example, here we now can see I deleted something and then added a few more lines. And if you want to go back in time, one really useful feature is the search option in GitHub. So you can search for your commit message. If you know, oh, at some point in time I deleted something, or at some point in time I did that. If it's in your commit message, then it's really easy to find. And then you can go back to that commit and have a look, oh, what did I do back then? And for really kind of like small changes, there's kind of like a version to get that stuff back via Git. But for small changes, the easiest thing is probably to just copy paste it back in. And now if you look at our graphics, we can see we have uncovered everything. And for completeness, so git fetch is a command we don't really use because it's integrated in git pull. But what git fetch does, it just updates the local repository, so that little git folder, but it doesn't do any kind of like changes to the files, to our working copy. And git pull then does also git fetch and a merge, so it now updates the local repository and incorporates the changes from a remote repository into the current branch. And that's what you want to do most of the time. That's why this command was created. Now you might think, okay, this is a great thing to do. I've just put everything under version control so I can go back to any point in time. It's, and you might think, okay, not only the code, but the data, my literature, everything. I want to have everything on Git. But that's a really terrible idea.
Yes, the reason why is, and we already alluded this bit in the earlier slides, is Git works based on differences. So it always takes a difference of the files you make, and then it creates a checksum. So it's an algorithm that basically makes sure that every change happens, has a unique identifier. And the problem is when you commit a file that's 600 megabytes, for example, like a brain imaging big file, then what will happen is creating these checksums will take a very long time, because in order to create these checksums, the computer has to look at every single byte to create this number. And this will take a long time. So if you just check in big files into Git, what will happen is it will take everything in Git will take very long, and it will get very, very slow to do anything. For example, to check out a repository or to change a branch. And if you want to use, if you think Git is a cool thing and you want to continue down this rabbit hole, there is a tool that's called DataLet, and there is a really cool talk in this train track by Adina Wagner from Jülich, and she shows what DataLet is, and it's a tool based on an extension to Git Annex, which allows you to handle big files. So they basically took this bottleneck of normal Git and made it work. So with DataLet and Git Annex, you can version control really, really big files, and it's extremely useful for this. So I very highly recommend to look at this talk. For literature, there is just a better tool, which is Zotero. So yes, you could check in PDFs in Git, but you don't profit from it. And if you want to share your results with everyone, then it's possibly better to put them on websites like the Open Science Foundation, which have a command line tool to upload data, to download data. And also there, it has a nice Git integration. So you can actually have your source code on Git, you have your data on OSF, and everything is nicely integrated and working well and performant. And then for code, if you like this whole concept of Git, there's one advanced topics that we recommend looking into, which is continuous integration. And we'll show a little bit about this later. But what it means is, it means that when someone commits something to a repository, tests automatically run. And they make sure that the changes you make to the repository don't break the big project. Because if you work together with hundreds of people, or even if you just work alone, it's very easy to make a change on one end of the project and breaking something on the other end. And continuous integration makes you automatically checks for these things and makes you aware that, oh, the change you just made potentially broke something.
So our project is going so well that I could convince Stefan to join me. So I have to add him to the project, and I can do that on GitHub. When you go on Manage Access, and it tells you you want to invite a collaborator, and that's what we want to do. So we want to invite Stefan to help me a little bit out, and he gets then a message that tells him, oh, Saskia Baumann just asked you to join her on this repository. And when he accepts that, he can now see the repository and then get started on working.
Yeah, so now I'm able to log into this repository, and I was already able to clone it before, but now I can push changes as well. So, and just to show that Git is not just working in Windows, it's also working on Linux, and actually even better because most Linux distributions have Git already integrated, and also on Mac it's pretty easy. So you just open your terminal on Mac or Linux, you type Git, and it should be there. So the cool thing is the commands are identical to what we have already shown. So we clone this GitHub repository. Of course, for this to work, I have to set up my SSH keys. It also works the same as what we have shown on the slides already. Then I'm cloning my repository that I want to work on. And now there's one thing we want to introduce, and it's called branching. And branching is something really useful. It can be intimidating, and it might look complicated, but if you just think about it, if you want to add a new branch, you want to do this if you implement a new feature, and then it gets actually really simple and very useful. So what you would do is you click on this branch master. So master is always the default branch. This is where the code should be that's running, that's working, that's tested. That's the code you release to other people. And then if you do something new, you usually want to create this new branch. So you click on this, you say create branch, and then you give it a name, for example, testing fancy feature, or developing new feature, or creating a bug fix, for example. So you create this new branch, and then you can see these branches. When you're on the repository, you see now this repository has two branches, and when you click on it, you see there's a master branch, and then there's a branch that I just created, and now we can work on that. So just to explain a little bit what's going on under the hood. So we have our remote repository. In there, we have the master branch, which is the main branch. This is where we keep the stable code. And then all other branches, see them as you want to test something, you want to fix something, or some people even keep release versions in branches so they can go back and make, for example, fixes to a certain version of the code they released to someone else. You find this nice graph overview to see these branches, and in Insights and Network Graph. Other tools like GitLab, for example, show this also quite nicely. But yeah, you see we have our master branch, and then here in blue, we branched off into our testing branch, and then here you also see we merged it back later. And then we're back to the main branch. So you nicely see why it's called branching, because the master is the tree, and then from there you branch off in little things. And sometimes you might not want to merge it back. So if you're just testing something, you can also just abandon the branch. And the cool thing is you haven't messed up the history, and you haven't disturbed anyone while testing something in the master branch. So we're doing this now. So I'm pulling this repository, and now I'm seeing there is a new branch because I created that online. So we're pulling this branch, and then we're checking out this branch, which means that we're switching our working copy to be that branch. And now I can use my favorite text editor. In this case, I just use VI, but you can use Nano, you can use gedit, whatever you have, and you edit the files you want, or Visual Studio Code. So you add a new feature, and then you make well, first you check what did I do. With git status, you see now there is a modified file, readme.md. Great, that's what I changed. So I want to create a commit, and I say I added this new feature. So the problem is, what's very often happening is you try to do a new feature and it seems to work, you commit it, and then you realize, oh, it didn't work. And you go back and you have to tweak the new feature. So you go back and you add more things and you create new commit messages. And now when we look at the log, at the history of our project, we see that Saskia just had nicely cleaned up the code on this snapshot. So 6.3b, this is this checksum that Git does. This identifies the status of the code. And now we see that I made 2 new commits, 4.6 with added new feature and 8.4 tweaked new feature. Now, if I would merge this back to the master branch, it would be not so cool because I needed 2 lines to do a simple thing. And very often I need more than 2 lines to do a simple thing. So it becomes very cumbersome for the people in the master project because suddenly there are 10 messages of me trying to do something and fixing typos. So it would be really cool if we combine these 2 into one thing to make it easier for the rest of the team to understand what I actually did. And this is one really cool thing that I want to show. It's called squashing commits. And I think also one of the developers of Git said, this is one really big advantage of Git. It makes a coder look to be really good because you can rewrite the history and you can make it look like you're actually good in coding. So what you would do is you do a Git reset and use a soft reset. And then you reset it to the commit where you branched it off. So in this case, it was Saskia's last commit. So C6, B55 and so on, where she cleaned the code. So I'm resetting the repository to there, but the working directory is still the latest thing I did. So now the log is clean, that's great. And now I can look at Git status again, and it will show me that Git detected that README is changed because I haven't changed my working files, or I changed them manually, right? So this is where my new features are all in there. And now I can make one new commit message where I say git commit, I implemented this new feature and I tested it and it's actually working. So this now created a new commit. And now you see that we only have 1 line and it's also a new checksum because now it combined both changes into one commit. So this is now something different for Git. And this is really cool. So we cleaned that up. Now the question is, did I really change history? No, you can't change history, you shouldn't. What we only changed is we changed the log history. So the log history is what people would usually look at. This is what's displayed by default in GitHub. But Git actually keeps track of what really happened under the hood. So if you look at this full history, it's called reflog. And if you look at this, we see that we actually see everything. So I see that I cloned from Saskia's original thing. Then we see that I checked out a different branch, which was my new feature. And all these things are not in the normal history, but they are in this ref log. Then we see that I made a commit, I added a new feature, then I found a typo, so I called it tweaking the new feature. And then I was embarrassed that I needed 2 commits to do this, so I reset the repository. So I moved back to C6B55-6D, and then I committed a new change where I then relabeled my change and said new feature implemented and tested because now I actually fixed that typo. And now it has a new commit. And now I'm happy. So I checked commit, I checked the status and I'm happy. Everything is committed. The working directory is clean. And then I can push. So now I'm sharing my changes with the rest of the world. And now it makes me look like a really good coder because I implemented this feature with 1 commit and I didn't do a mistake, right? So now ready to merge. The cool thing is when I do this on GitHub, there will be a little message compare and pull request. So I'm clicking on that and I'm saying, look, I implemented this new feature. I added this new feature. It's ready to be merged. And now I could potentially merge this myself because I'm actually now a contributor to the project because Saskia added me. But good practice is that actually someone else reviews what you did. So that would be now in a code review. So someone looks at the changes, make sure they're plausible. Ideally, you also have continuous integration set up, so your commit is actually checked if you broke something else in the code. But now the next person in the project takes over.
Exactly. So now we have the pull request from Steph, and I see it. And I now log in with my credentials onto the repository, and it shows me that he made a new feature, has this new branch, and he wants that new branch like integrated into the master branch, and he asks me to check what he did was plausible. And once I go back through the code, I can merge his pull request. So that means kind of like integrating his changes from his testing branch into the master branch. And I also write him a little text message and say, thank you for your work, thanks for your contribution. And this, again, is also a commit, so a change to the repository. And once I have confirmed this merge, you can see the comments and as well that the pull request was successful and merged, and you can even delete the branch if you don't want to keep it. Now our history is nice and clean. If we go back and look at it, so we have the one commit for the new feature, and we have the merge commit that tells us this new feature has been integrated into the master branch after testing. And that's kind of like how you work in a project when everyone has access to the project. And it's very similar when you want to contribute to a project where you're not part of the development team, in the sense that you have access or push rights to the repository. So everyone can pull, but not everyone can push. And for that, we've chosen the hackathon example. So the team has set up a really nice short example on how to use Git and how to actually contribute a little bit to the OHBM website. So when you go on the OHBM Hackathon 2020 repository and you have a look at the issues, they have one pinned issue there, how to add your own image to the venue page. And that's a really good exercise on how to use Git with all the steps in there. So we will just quickly go through that. The idea is that everyone adds an image to the venue folder, which is then displayed online on whatever they're set up for working at home or whatever, maybe an image of you, and also modify a file and then commit, push, and pull, make a pull request for these changes. So it looks a little bit more interesting on the website. And we just need to follow the description along. So the first thing is to find an image, which I've already done. And then we fork the repository now. So that means you create kind of like the same repository, but in your local GitHub account where you have rights to make changes. So that's one more step we have to do, but it's pretty easy. So instead of cloning, we go back to the code. And instead of cloning, this time we click on fork. And then it asks us where should we fork this Hackathon 2020 repository to. And I'm picking Stefan's account now, because this is the second round of doing that. So don't worry if it doesn't work out right away. And it will tell us it's forking now. It will take a few seconds. When that's done, it will appear in your GitHub account. And then you follow exactly the steps along. So you want to clone the repository and you want to create a new branch on which you add your image. Good. So we go on git clone, and now this is no longer the OHBM repository, but this is now Stefan's own repository, where we have forked the repository too. So we clone it, for example, using the command line. This takes a little bit because it's already pretty big, which again shows kind of like why you only want to have small files if possible. Then we change to that directory, we create a new branch, we check out this new branch, so our working copy is now on the new branch. And then we add our image file to the folder, which is really just copy pasting it to into the correct folder, which is image and venue. And then we also have to modify the YAML file that describes the venue web page. So our image gets added to it. And we just have to give it a name and the name of the image file. And for example, we can use the normal text editor, or we can use it with Visual Studio Code, where you right click on the background and then it automatically opens the whole folder for you. And once you've done that and you found the correct file, you now start to make your changes. And really important, add that little minus there, because otherwise it doesn't work. Once you've done that, you know what to do. So you commit your changes and you add all of the files you changed. So git add will add the YAML file that you changed to the staging area, as well as the new image that you just added. So let's have a look at it. Where we call git status, it shows us one file has been modified and one file has been included, which is not yet tracked. And also Visual Studio Code will give you exactly the same information. So you can see the little M next to the venue file, that means modified, and you can see the U next to the image, which is untracked. And you could now commit from Visual Studio Code, or we just follow the instructions here. We just do it on a command line, and then yeah, we just make a commit message that says, okay, who added the image to the venue page, and then we update our GitHub repository with the changes we made locally, which is just git push. And again, we run into a little problem here, but luckily Git gives us the solution. And the problem is that we have created the branch locally and we didn't tell the remote repository about it. And once we do that, we get a successful git push, and then we can go to the last step for us, which is creating a pull request. And the easiest is to just go again to your local repository, and GitHub will already ask you, hey, you made some changes. Do you want to compare and create a pull request? And it's really important that this is your local repository, not the OHBM one. So when we click on compare and pull request, it will tell us that the branches can automatically merge. So we haven't really broken anything or introduced any conflict. And then we write a little message, just thank you for being awesome. And then we create this pull request by clicking here. And at the bottom of the page, you again get an overview of the changes you made. So you can see we added 3 new lines, and we also added an image that go along with it. And just make sure that that image is really, really small, so just a couple of kilobytes, because our Western repository will get really big and very slow. And now, because we don't have any access to the repository, the team on the OHBM side will now have to actually make the merge. So we just have to sit and write, and they actually have some continuous integration in there, so that will run, and once that's done, shows, oh wow, all checks have passed, so that is good, we didn't break anything. And once someone from the team has reviewed your changes, you will get a little welcome message from the bot. It says thank you for contributing, and once everything is done, you get a congrats message and some bragging rights for your first fork and pull request. And often you also get a little comment from one of the authors, says thank you, and you can see that the pull request was successfully merged and closed. And if that was a little bit too quick, Stefan would quickly summarize what has happened.
Yeah, so just to summarize, what's collaboration in Git looking like? It basically puts everything together that we talked about today. So we know remotes are the repositories stored on our computers, and we learned already earlier that there can be multiple remotes. So now we have actually 2 remotes. So we have the origin, which is the repo where I cloned from, and we have now upstream, which is the repo I forked from. So how does this look like? So the OHBM has this Hackathon 2020 repository on their website. We are not members of this repository, but we want to contribute. So what we will do is everyone can fork. So fork is basically a clone, but it's not a clone to a repository, it's clone on GitHub. So this means we're taking this Hackathon 2020 repo and we are copying and linking it into our account. So this repository always knows where it came from. So it knows, oh, I have a relationship with this OHBM repository, and this is what makes it work, and these buttons appear, like create pull request and merge and all these things. So this is why it knows where it came from. Then we have to change it, so we have to clone it to our local computer. So we do this, and there's our local. Then we have now 2 remotes. The remote 1 is origin. The remote 2 is upstream. Or we call that upstream. That's the Git language, how people call it. You can call it however you want. You can also rename it. So we pull from this origin, we push changes up there, and then we make a pull request, which means we invite the original authors of the project to pull changes from our fork. And they can then decide if they want to make changes to these changes, or if they want to reject it. Maybe sometimes it just doesn't fit what they wanted, and they will just say, no, we don't like you, or we can't really use your contribution. So this can happen as well. But very often, everyone is happy if you help them out in your project. So yeah, that's it, what we wanted to talk about today.
So thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we could convince you to give Git a try. So we have a little break now, I think, and then some time for question answers. And yeah, if you all could give it a try and see if you can contribute to the OHBM website, that would be really fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Would have ended up being much more expensive than Crowdcast.
Yeah. Also, it's easier to manage. Zoom gets really bad quickly with 100 per people.
Yeah.
Especially like muting the mouse, everything. I mean, here a Crowdcast is a bit easier.
Yeah. It says the train track feels very beginner friendly and the hack track super advanced stuff. So maybe we need something in the middle ground. I don't know that I would say that the train track feels, I mean, I'm thinking back to like myself as a beginner, and I would definitely say that the MATLAB session is more of like an intermediate level one. Nylearn and sklearn is also, I mean, yeah, I guess they're all like beginner and intermediate level. I guess it also really depends on like what your definition of a beginner and intermediate level topic is. Does McGill have enterprise subscription? For Zoom, I mean, McGill does have an enterprise subscription, I think, but none of us are professors at McGill, so we can't use that. I think that would be the answer.
Yeah, so I think also I think the project leaders should, I mean, also the projects right now are I mean, I've been to another type of Brainhack, and you have projects that are, you know, like none or maybe half coding, half research projects. That can also happen here, but it just didn't happen that way. I think it's a lot of coding, which is fine. So I think project leaders should try to bring people that without any or small coding skills too.
Yeah. And I mean, I think another thing that I would say about the discrepancy between, I guess, like the train track and the hack track levels is that the hack track is purely participant driven, right? Like we're not the ones actually proposing projects. Well, Remy and I initially envisioned having a very beginner friendly project, which you would be able to like follow from literally like somebody who's basically somebody who has gone through every single train track session would be able to join this project. But we ran out of time to do this, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe next year. That's also a really shitty response, I'm sorry.
So what else is in your mind?
Is there more? Oh, also somebody asked the question. Also, I've seen that the socialized. Somebody's just confused about how to access GatherTown. I'll add that button again.
So about the Mattermost, that's not a problem we can fix because that's between Mattermost and the user. So you should probably talk to them because it's not about the Brainhack channel itself. It's just the account you're trying to make. We'll try to help as much as possible, but I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the reminder, Kendra. During the Git and GitHub Q&A session, we had the idea to have a poll right now, which I'll make, just to gauge whether people prefer to ask questions via Mattermost, a live Q&A, or even just like going to GatherTown. So I will do that now.
Oh yeah, let's see the questions you're asking. So the Unconferences sessions are usually, I mean, you come forward with anyone like myself or Lisa and just ask to do a small Unconference session. And it's just a talk about anything you want. Usually how it works is people talk about their project or their research and maybe find some interested people. But other than that, it's just very, relaxed, I would say. And we do have tomorrow one session. I don't know how long is it going to be, Lisa?
45 minutes. And
okay.
It's so tomorrow's Unconference is actually it's being taken up by CONP.
So yeah, the day after tomorrow will be a good day to ask about the space. And you will have like 5-10 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
And also I've seen that socializing space that I could never find again after closing it. I think it was called Oh yeah. So you have the access there. You can click the button down.
Pradeep said some big revelation I had today. In GatherTown, you need to use keyboard arrow keys, not mouse. Yes. It's a very 90s looking layout, but it's cute. I like it.
Yes, you should look at your email for the links. Otherwise, ask for the email if you didn't get it. How do you talk to someone in GatherTown? Oh, sorry, Lisa. Yeah.
Oh, you can answer it.
Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, okay. So with GatherTown, you can only interact with people if you're like in the same vicinity as them. So once you're like moving around GatherTown, once you're like I don't know what the exact distance you're supposed to be from somebody is, but once you're close enough to somebody, if both of your video and mics are on, then you can chat with a person.
So thanks, Ricardo.
Oh, thank you.
No points for you, but I appreciate it. He's a student of my colleagues here in Mexico. So the other thing was about the distance in GatherTown. Yeah, you can change that. So there's a target to the left that you can actually change. So if you want like to be really close to someone to talk, then you can just put that one, because otherwise it's just if there's like 5 people, you will just get all of them at the same time.
Damien said, at previous hackathons, people would post things I know or things I want to know. Many Unconference tutorials were born that way. Might be an idea for people who have a lot of little things they've heard people mention and want to learn. Yeah, that's a really great idea. I'm not sure what the best way to do that would be. I guess we could have like an Etherpad document where people can just add either like a HackMD or an Etherpad document where people just literally add everything that they would like to learn, and then I guess whatever has votes.
So Tashrif is actually asking about GatherTown. So yeah, you have to. So maybe the other person was off at the moment. That's why you just. I mean, if you see like a black, a dark, small screen, then it means that it's away. It's a.
Yeah.
I mean, it was working well in the morning, but I guess people just went away.
Oh damn! Okay, so Mattermost is getting way more votes than live Q&A and GatherTown. Are you guys just shy or?
Well, we get it's like 11 votes out of 172 people. So
I know.
it would be nice to actually know the opinion of the people here.
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, if you don't poll now, you can actually let us know on the channels on Mattermost.
Yep.
The OHBM Hackathon.
Thank you.
Okay, we're getting a bit more answer here.
Kareem said, I've spent the day waiting and clicking the resend confirmation button for Mattermost to confirm my email. By stroke of luck, I noticed that the URL my email was typed with had the % encoded @ symbol. Oh, super. That's very helpful. Thank you. Can I just, I'm going to copy paste this and put this in the general channel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait, never mind. I think that doesn't make sense because people who can't get into Mattermost wouldn't be able to access the general channel. That was stupid.
Yes. No, well.
Make a note of
you can put it here.
Maybe in like the next email that we send out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool.
So still Mattermost is winning the poll. So yes, if you're not familiar with Crowdcast, I guess that's the problem. But if you look down on your screen, there's polls next to ask a question, and you can just click and vote for how do you prefer to ask questions.
Yeah. I mean, we'll respond to like whatever you guys post, or we can do the Q&A. We can do all of the above.
Github 0.
Yeah.
It's only good for drinks, virtual drinks.
Oh, yes. Kendra had proposed having like a virtual drinks thing after the hackathon ends on Thursday. We'll figure out a time for that and then advertise it maybe tonight or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody also wants to just like come on screen with us, you're welcome to. Just, you know, let me know. Let Eduardo know.
It seems it is.
I was about to say I kind of want to drink, and then I checked the time, and it's 5 p.m. here, so seems like a good time. All right, I'm inviting Zihe. Wow, my invite was rejected. How rude. That's fine. Does anybody else want to join?
Oh wait, I remember I remember which project has also like for non-coders. It was a repro schema and library, I think. Sandra was, I just saw her there, so I think she was also looking for people without coding, but I'm not sure if I remember correctly.
Okay. Also, in response to don't drag us into the awkwardness, it could be less awkward if we had more people on here. Yeah, Mattermost really is winning by quite a few votes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Alejandro might be right. Perhaps we should just, you know, go to GatherTown.
I think we should wrap up.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thanks for mentioning that, Sanu.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. All right. In that case, thank you all for joining. I guess we'll be in GatherTown if you want to just stop by and say hi. Otherwise, yeah, ping us on Mattermost if you have any more questions, and we will see you all tomorrow at the same time as today. And we'll have oh yes, Alejandro, he has a question. What's up? I'm in my little brother's room. My little brother. I have truly zero opinions on this matter. Definitely not Boston Red Sox. I am a New York City person. Which bagel is best? We've been over this, Kendra.
We leave that for tomorrow morning, probably.
I know. Maybe I'll actually just eat a bagel tomorrow during the session. I'll go in the morning. Thank you, Remy. Okay, should we, I guess, just go to GatherTown?
Yes, I think so. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.